Hello, we are the Code Commandos and we are going to present a tutorial on an app we've written called Duty Roster 1. Duty Roster 1 is an automated military-based scheduling system that has also been adapted for public use. It's a Windows 10 desktop app written in JavaFX using NetBeans platform. It automates the Department of the Army Form 6, which is used at all levels of command and in all types of units and organizations. It gives leaders a set of powerful tools to quickly create and modify unit duty rosters and guarantees that soldiers are being assigned to specific duties fairly and accurately. The Duty Roster 1 turns the cumbersome and error-prone process of handwriting duty rosters into a simple and easy-to-use desktop application. Users can either use the java.jar or they can install the Windows 10 version of the app. When you begin running the application, you will first be prompted to create a password. This password must be between 5 to 16 characters, and both text fields must have identical inputs in order for the new password to process. If one of the criteria are not met, you will receive an error. You also have the ability to see the text in case you would like to ensure you are entering the correct information. Once you have entered a password that can be used, you can select the Create button and enter the program. The first thing that should pop up is the initial setup wizard. This is a brief step-by-step guide that first-time users can reference before using the program. The easiest way to set everything up is to follow the step-by-step guide, which is used to establish initial settings. You have the ability to turn off this pop-up every time the application opens. If you decide you would like to see it again, you can reopen it from the Help menu. All rosters use the grade and employee data to assign people. That data must be filled in prior to adding employees to a roster. The quickest way to add employees and grades at the same time is by importing them into the employee editor using a CSV, comma-separated values file. These files can be easily created with a common spreadsheet editor like Microsoft Excel or Google Spreadsheets. More information can be found in the Help file. There is also the option to add grades and employees manually. Grades can be manually added or deleted using the Grades editor. To add a grade, enter the name on the text field below and select Add. You will receive an error if you add a blank grade name. You can set a grade precedence to any custom order by selecting grades and using the up and down buttons to select the priority order. To delete a grade, you can right-click on the grade and select the Delete button. Once you have finished adding all the grades, you can close out by using the Done button on the bottom corner. Employees can be manually added or deleted using the Employees editor. To add an employee, select a grade and enter the name on the text field. If either field is empty, you will receive an error. Once finished, you can press Add. To edit an employee, double-click on the employee and you can change the name or grade in the settings. To delete an employee, right-click on the employee and select the Delete option. Once you've finished adding all the employees, you can close out by using the Done button on the bottom corner. All the action happens in the roster. To create a roster, you can either press the plus button or you can go to the Tools option and select New Roster. In the newly created roster, there are some settings you can go through to customize your roster. Title allows you to enter a title for the duty roster. Interval determines the duration of one shift. The options are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24 hours, each adding up to 1 day. For example, if the option 4 is selected, then there will be 6 4-hour shifts for one full duty day. Rest interval sets the rest time in hours that an employee must receive after a duty shift before being reassigned to another shift. Amount determines the number of employees assigned to one shift. Once you have finished, select Save. To assign employees to rosters, you can select employees from a previously loaded employee data using the Assign Members button. If you are creating a new roster, then all increment starting numbers should remain at 1. If you are adding to an ongoing roster, then you must change the starting increments to match the previous numbers for each employee. To prioritize rosters, you can move the roster tabs and select a priority order. Priority is based on tab order from left to right. Drag and drop tabs to set priority. The highest priority roster assigns employees duty first. Then each lesser priority roster must deconflict all priority rosters. An employee that is currently pulling duty on a higher priority roster is exempt from pulling duty on all lower priority rosters for that time period. The lower rosters will show that the employee is pulling duty on a higher roster by displaying the letter D in the column for that day. The rest time period is determined by the longest rest time between both rosters that are being compared. Rest time is considered an authorized absence, depicted with the letter A, so the increment number does not increase during that period. You must press Update Rosters to run the assignment algorithm. This must happen every time that changes are made. Once you have moved to the next month, press the Set Increments to carry over the last increment numbers from the previous month. Then press Update Rosters to run the assignment algorithm on the newly selected month. Holidays can be added in the Holiday Editor. To add a holiday, a user needs to enter a holiday name, a from date, and a to date for the new holiday. After entering the desired data in the field, you can click the Add button to add that holiday to the editor. You will receive an error if all fields aren't filled. Once you're finished adding the holidays, press the Done button to exit the editor. To show the holidays in the roster, you can select the Holidays button and hit Save and update rosters. And it should appear on the list. The next few points are optional for users, but can be beneficial to customize rosters. Statuses can be added in the Status Editor. Each status needs a code and a title. The user has the option to allow for increment during the use of that status. If all values aren't added, you will receive an error. Once you have entered the desired values in the field, press the Add button to add the status to the editor. To edit a status, double-click on the status and you can change the settings below. When finished with the status editor, press the Done button. Blockouts are used to designate dates in which employees are unable to work. The user will have to select a name and a status that already exists in the employee and status editors. After selecting the name and status, the user will assign which days the employee will have blocked out, as well as the option to write the reason in which they are receiving the blockout. Once you're ready to add a new blockout, press the Add button. To edit a blockout, double-click on the blockout and you can change the name, status, from, and to date, and the reason below. To delete a blockout, right-click on the blockout and select the Delete option. When finished with the blockout editor, press the Done button. Settings allow you to customize the labels and the field information on the output files. To access these settings, select the View tab and click on Settings to access the Settings editor. Here you can customize labels which will be used when exporting your roster file. When you are finished, hit Save and then you can click the Done button. When you're finished with your roster, you can export the roster in PDF format 2 different ways. you have the roster form and the roster memo. The application gives you the option to save the PDF files to any location on your computer. The roster form creates a duty matrix and also includes a remarks page for blockout reasons if necessary. The duty memo shows addition shift information to inform employees of their assigned duty. This also includes the settings that you have previously inputted using the settings editor. This concludes the tutorial for the Duty Roster 1. For more help on using this application, check out the help section for detailed instructions.